What up, fellow Scenarians? Be sure to stay locked in by subscribing to www.thescenarioradioshow.com and pull up a seat to the grown-ups table. Also, hit the notification button to make sure you don't miss any Real Talk with the playlist. We bring our guests and make them choose between two topics, and then we judge them accordingly on The Choice Is Yours. This time it is the Friday edition. So we're going to lay out the options. We're going to see what everybody has to say. And we just got through talking just a moment ago about the sequel, so we're going to start there. Next Friday or Friday after next? If you got to choose one, which one do you go with?
Friday after next, hands down for me.
Friday after next. So you're a Christmas movie guy. Do you watch that any other time of the year? Would you watch it any other time of the year? Is it just like you want to be in the time mode?
No.
Okay.
Next Friday for me. I gotta watch Friday after next in Christmas time, but I like next Friday. I just I think I was a little bit older when it came out as opposed to when Friday dropped, and so I feel a little bit more of a kinship to it. And like Friday after next feels like the sequel to Next Friday to me. So. That's how I go.
Okay.
That's a good way to think of it. I never thought of it like that. Yeah.
It's like Friday's like a separate movie. It's like Friday, and then you got Next Friday and Friday after next.
That's funny.
Their own film universe.
That's kind of cool though. That's cool. I didn't think of it like that. Yeah, I'm a Next Friday dude. Love Next Friday. I use in my day-to-day maybe a few more one-liners from that one just because it was funnier to me. But again, Friday itself is a way better movie. But I'm gonna go with Next Friday.
Okay. All right. I'm going to recuse myself from this one because I'll be honest, I've never cared for either of those movies.
A lot of attacks going on this time. This is crazy.
Now I will say this: I have never watched either of them over the last decade or so. I may go back and find out that I actually enjoy them. Maybe that's what I need to do.
Uncle Elroy, low key is a great kid. Just the shadiness that he throws at them, I know y'all ain't got no pool. Like it's just like it's everybody got somebody in the family like I bet you thought like it just
Curry is always hilarious.
He killed it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and give these another chance. You know what? I think y'all have convinced me. I'm gonna go back and give both of the Friday sequels another chance. All right, so we talked about how great this movie is and what the pantheon that it's in, but let's narrow it down a little bit. If it has to be considered among the top 5 of one of these, which one would it be the top 5 of? No doubt. Top 5 hood movie, top 5 stoner movie, or top 5 black comedy?
Oof. This is tough. I want to eliminate stoner movie. And here, I just feel like there are other movies that are more about being a stoner than Friday is. I think Smokey is the stoner in question here, and Craig does dabble a little bit. But I think that there's so much more to Friday than being a stoner movie. So I want to for me, I have to eliminate that as an option. Now, the other two, that's tough.
For me, I think it's probably a top 3 hood movie in my opinion. And so, yes, it is comedy. It is very comedic. But I think it's a different brand of comedy in my opinion. So I think it's in that genre, but it stands out because of the humor. So I'm gonna go with hood movie.
Yeah, I'm on Rico. I go hood movie because when I think of black comedies, I'm thinking like Harlem Nights. Boomerang to me feels like black comedy. Coming to America. So that's 3 right there. I can rattle off that I would go to. Before, I would think hood movie. I would think hood movie because,
Yeah, I agree. Y'all are right. Because this is probably my favorite hood movie for sure.
Because you know what, I would have thought Stoner. I would have listened to an argument for Stoner, but the way you put it, Smokey was the only one really that was smoking. He was the Stoner, so yeah, he was a part of it, but it wasn't a Cheech and Chong. That's what I think of. How High, Cheech and Chong, something like that.
How High? That's how number
high
one.
Is, How High.
Half-Baked? What about Half-Baked?
Half-Baked. That's what I was about to say. Half-Baked. Like that's all they're doing. Both characters all the time. The story is centered around that so much. So yeah, I think hood just because.
I will say this. I get what y'all saying, but I'd say the reason I would think of it possibly being a stoner movie, not because everyone smokes weed in it, but because him smoking weed is the impetus for the what makes the story take off.
That's true.
Had he not, he probably would have had that money because he don't know. because they never really say whether or not what happened to the money. But you
Yeah.
gotta assume Smokey
He
smoked.
smoked
He
it away.
smoked that money. He smoked it. There was no question.
Yeah.
Smoked it.
Yeah. Okay. Top 5 hood movie. I think I agree with that though. I do think I
Yeah.
agree that top 5 hood movie. If I had to name top 5, if I was going to name my top 5 hood movies, it would definitely be in there, probably along with Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I'd have to think about what those other 3 would be. With those 2,
And being around dudes I know who I didn't necessarily grow up with them, who I've hung around, who grew up together in certain neighborhoods, seeing 2 dudes who were from the same place, or just people who were from the same place, laugh over stuff that shouldn't be laughed over, laugh over stories that should, you can tell like that's a whole nother side. Like that's a real part. Most of the best stories that they're telling come from situations like this that could have been dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a hood.
oh yeah, and that's
Yeah.
a thing. That is a very real thing. I
Mhm.
don't know if any. I have 2 friends right now. If we got together and we're sitting together long enough, we can tell you with tears in our eyes, laughing about a time that we were almost shot.
Yeah,
And-
right.
Yeah.
You hear those stories come from people. Hearing folks who grew up together, no matter how old they get, they'll talk about it and laugh about it.
All right. Well, it's official. Friday is a top 5 hood movie, and so says the scenario.
So says us.
Science.
All right. So if you were going to have a spinoff from the movie Friday, and you had to choose between these 2 characters, would you choose the Further Adventures of Red, or would you choose a Deebo prequel?
I'm going with Red. I want to know what Red was doing when we're watching Smokey and Craig. What is Red doing when he's trying to get his bike back? When he goes to talk to his dad, all that kind of stuff. Those are the conversations I want to know. Where he's like, my grandma bought me that chain, and now he back at the house like, God dang, I gotta get that chain back. You know, like I want to see Red's villain origin story. You know, the backstory. Deebo, not that entertaining to me as a character. Like I said, they should have shot him.
No, it's definitely Red for me. I mean, I'm a big avid wrestler fan, and so love Zeus or a tiny list
Zeus.
But no, Red. I think that there were layers to that you could see, and it definitely made me wonder. Want to know a little bit more about his situation. I think that it would have been cool to see a few more scenes with him.
You know what? I'm gonna have to go against the grain, because even before you finished the question, when you just said a spinoff, I already thought in my head, I want to see a Deebo prequel, because I want to see what led little Deebo. I want to see what led up to it. Like, I want him to be the little chunky kid who was bullied, and he didn't even grow up with like a tough dad it was his mama and his sisters. Like, his sisters used to whoop his ass. Everybody knew his mamas. Like, there was no men ever around. It was just all women, from his sisters to his aunties. All these women could whoop ass, and came from a long line of ass whoopers. And he was a sweet kid. Deebo was a sweet kid. He liked poetry. He was deep. Deebo was a sweet kid until these
Sounds like
aunties.
you got a film pitch here, man.
Man, and he was a good kid. Little Deebo was a good kid. And
Because said no fathers in the
He
home.
was a good kid.
No fathers
he was
in the
a
home.
good kid. They all left because the women kept whooping their ass, and the fathers were all little. The women were all big, but it's almost kind of Norbitish, but not so Norbitish. I just feel like, I feel like Deebo was a sweet kid, and then something happened that
It was wide and outside.
New Line Cinema, you got to get on it. The man got a film pitch. Y'all need
that's
to
what
talk
happened.
to him.
Deebo was a sweet kid.
Lionsgate will take it.
Lionsgate, so, yeah. And like his name was like, dang, I hate it to be Dabness, but I feel like Dabness is perfect. But if he had a name like that, like it was something like that sounded like that.
Deebo.
Because you done changed my mind, man.
Yeah, I feel like, because here's the thing, I feel like Red would have been a good mini series, or a quick little, because I love the idea of filling in the blanks during the Friday day. Like, I feel like that's the selling point. Like, you wanted to know what happened off camera during Friday. But Deebo came up as a good kid. Good Deebo. Yeah. That's what you can call it.
Good
Deebo.
I gotta admit, you changed my mind too. Because I was thinking Red. Because I think a spinoff of Red would be more hilarious. I think
yes,
from frame to frame, one of the most hilarious things you ever seen. But Deebo would be an interesting story, because I think when you first see it, when you first are presented with the idea, you're thinking of Deebo, and you're like, he's not really that interesting of a character. But he's not that interesting of a character because
we got to make him interesting.
Because he's in the hood, he's a force of nature. You know a Deebo, and it's like you don't know. you know, if you don't know him, you don't know a lot. You just know you want to avoid him. And that's all you need to
Yeah.
know. You're not trying
That's
to find
it.
about his interior life.
You
You're
don't
trying
know
to get
what
out of
made
the way.
Deebo Deebo.
The Misadventures of Red is a comedy. Young Deebo
Yeah.
sound like a drama. It sound like a gripping tale of like,
It would be. It could
what
be one
happened
of
to him?
those.
Who hurt him?
One of those comedy dramas to where it's like it's funny, but there's a point in it, and it's something that happens, and you know it could be shot totally different. Yeah, I just feel like
you're raising a villain. You know, like at the end of the day, this is a bad person. We get like this is the
and
origin
what
story
made
of a
him
evil
turn?
person.
Like what? This is on some Marvel heroes type shit.
Yeah.
Like what made Deebo? What was the breaking point? Like, does he get his heart broken? Does his dad? I don't know. It's something that made Deebo mad.
It's just interesting. I think that he played the role okay. I think he could have maybe, you know, there might have been somebody that could play it better. But when you think about it, I mean, it you know, he is one of the iconic roles of that movie. And to the point to where Deebo is actually a verb as well.
I was just about to say,
It's a
Rico.
verb. Like it,
Bro, I was just about to say.
you got Deebo.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but
man.
but I knew some Deebos, and it was like, all right.
You don't want to.
I'm sure he's got an origin story. I'm not sticking around to talk.
I don't want to know it. I don't want to know.
About it. Yeah.
Wait. But in some of those guys, I knew their origin story. So yeah,
because you know what it is. If somebody would have just hugged Deebo once, like if somebody would have just told Deebo, you're good enough. Deebo, you can do it. But nobody did. Everybody was hard on Deebo because all these ass-kicking aunties thought that's what boys needed. They needed somebody to whoop their ass all the time because everybody else is gonna do it, and they took it too much. And now
this is a
Deebo,
story.
it is, man.
Tragedy. This is a tragedy. Like I'm on the edge of my seat.
It is.
I wait to read the screenplay. B-Cov. Get on there right away.
We got to figure out a Deebo prequel. Somebody. There's few things I want in my life. I think Deebo prequel is up there now. It used to only be doing a stage play version of DMX's How It's Going Down. I feel like that would be a great stage play. But I want that, and I think a Deebo prequel is something that I wish I had enough money to produce.
Get Jordan Peele on the phone. Put that
like
yeah,
dude,
get him
a
on the
musical of How It's Going. That's such a good story.
Oh
So
man! At another time, I'm going to have to ask more about this musical stage play of DMX's How It's Going Down, but I can't do it right now. But I've got
that's all right. Just when you got nothing to do, listen to the song in your mind. Now that that's planted in it, just listen to the song today, and you'll see the story. You'll see it.
The things you think about. The things you think about. All right,
it works. It works.
Right? Thank you, dog.
It works.
I had to take your word for it. I'm going to look into it. All right. So, what is the better life lesson from this? The moral of the story of Friday is it put your guns down and fight with your hands, or is it playing with my money? It's like playing with my emotions.
Give it to Worm. Give it to Worm. Give it to Worm. I think I think back then they needed to hear, you know, put the guns down and play with you. Now you need to arm yourself. You know your rights. You know what I'm saying?
Know your right. Yeah.
Know your rights. People out here crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I still Deebo was just way too big. I'm saying they should have jumped him. When Smokey said jump him, I felt that. But when he said shoot him, I in my soul like shoot him. I'm with Big Worm on this one.
Yeah.
No, I'm Big Worm as well. I mean, obviously, he's one of my favorite characters, right? Yeah. But also, I mean, I think the moral for me was like, no, like not only like not playing with people's money, but like you need to do something else better with your job than better with yourself than selling weed and smoking weed, right? It's you playing around with it. Like do something with your life.
At least break even. At least if all you're doing, if all you're doing is just hustling to get high, all right, there's no harm, no foul. But you hustling to owe money, okay, now you just don't. You just at least break even.
Something better with his life.
Yeah, that's definitely a solid life lesson to be learned.
I got to go Worm. I would have to go Worm because that's something that you could say to a backwoods white man who lives in West Virginia and who has no idea of anything Friday. And if you said to him, messing with my money is playing with my emotions, that man, he's going to be like, sir, you're right. You're right. Like that travels. They don't give a shit about them put the guns down anywhere else. You could take that piece of advice and that travels anywhere in the world, anywhere in the world.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I got to agree with that. also, I don't the whole thing about put the guns down and fight with your hands. The reason that's always been a weird thing for me is because it's like, what about conflict resolution? Is there any option? Because not playing with my money is conflict resolution. That means
Right
we don't
there
have a problem in the first place.
in the
So,
first
like,
place.
yeah, can we have some sort of conflict resolution? I don't know if letting him continue to beat me is the
Yeah.
thing that I need. Now, this isn't the time now to teach me a lesson. This man might kill me.
Kill
Let's
me.
figure
Give me the
something
money, and I'll. Yeah. That's not. We're trying to treat the disease here, not the symptom. We're trying to get to the root. Get to the
Right.
root.
And you just gonna go beat the bully out of Deebo? He been getting beat his whole life. Like B-Cov said, do you
Nothing.
understand that this is not gonna work on him? This is what
Nothing.
made him this way. You know what I'm
It
saying?
was
Like,
exactly.
God, the Deebo backstory really adds layers to why you
It
just don't
does.
go with
That's why
get
he
him.
went after. That's why he went after Felicia, because Felicia's weak, and he knew
Mhm.
he would just have to deal with a weak. He couldn't deal with all that. He been getting his ass whipped by these women for all these years. So he went to get what was the complete opposite, thinking it was gonna be easier for him.
Mhm.
Boom.
Brian Covington, ladies and gentlemen, Deboologist.
No, all things
Debo.
Debo.
We're casting for Young Deebo here. Yeah.
It's gonna be a little fat dude look like young little Terrio. That's who's gonna
All
be Debo.
So you're out and about. The neighborhood crackhead comes up to you and say, "Hey man, listen, give me a ride. I got something I got to take care of, and I'll give you $20 after we get finished." Which crackhead do you trust the most in that scenario? Ezel or Felicia?
Hey, I got my answer. I got you. Y'all go first though.
I'm gonna go with Felicia, just because I mean she was kind of just like asking. Ezel was like breaking in people's homes, and and clearly we just found out earlier that he was the reason why Craig got fired. So I'm gonna go with Felicia on this one, hands down.
Can I abstain from because like God dang, Felicia can't get in my car. She can't get in my car. I'm sorry. Like, you can't trust a woman who look like that. I'm sorry. Because like you said, if you really squint, you like. But at the same time, like, nah, Felicia, no.
So is it she can't get in your car because you don't trust her, or you don't trust yourself?
I don't trust her. I don't trust nothing she about to say or do. Get out of my. You can't get in my car. At least I know. Okay, I'll drop you off at wherever you about to rob.
Right.
I'm gonna act like I didn't know nothing was happening. I'm getting out of there. Sorry.
It's funny. That is funny. Okay, so personally, I'm gonna go with Ezel. I'm gonna tell you why. There's a couple of layers to it. It's not gonna be easy, but I'm gonna try to give it to you quick. Neither one of them are trustworthy at all, right? But when it comes down to the tiebreaker, there's two things I look at a tiebreaker. If I'm with Felicia, more than likely it could be something to where another crackhead dude or a Deebo. It's something. She has something that all men want to obtain, whether she's a junkie or not. And I just don't want that factor coming into the situation when I'm at a red light. I don't know who else I got. Well, at least with Ezel, I only got to worry about you doing so. I don't have to worry about anybody else who sees me in the car with you like, oh, well, who is he? Second, I don't want nobody to see me in the car with you, because then it's like, oh, this fool gonna ride around with we know what you about to get into, B. No, I don't want to deal with that. If somebody see me in the car with Ezel, they know I don't do crack. This is gonna be like, man, buddy needed something. He was gonna give me some hubcaps or something. Just something. It's easier to tell that story. I wouldn't mind people seeing me, and I feel like it's a little easier for me to deal with Ezel, honestly. And then also, Ezel seems like the type, if you just overpay him, you don't have to worry about it. If he wants, hey, man, here's an extra 20, man. Just look out for me. Then he's going to keep you in mind when he steals the good stuff, when he takes something and be like, hey, I remember last time you liked these. I got these for you. So I just feel like, yeah.
You ride around with Felicia, you're going to get one of those, tell me who she was. And you're like, I can't explain why this crackhead lady is in my car.
Even worse than that. It's going to be even worse than that. It's going to be like, we know who she is.
Yeah.
Why is she in the car with you?
In your car. Yeah.
Yeah. What you got going on?
She
no matter what. Ain't no, especially my homeboys. Yeah, they'll be like, oh, we know what all right, we know. It's like, no.
I say it will be conditional. If I have to, if I'm dropping them off and leaving them,
okay,
then I would take Ezel, because I know I don't have to worry about it. I'm not letting Ezel come back to the car after he goes into wherever he's going.
He can't come back.
He
smart.
Definitely stole something.
Smart.
He definitely stole something. But Felicia can come back to the car because she probably didn't steal something. I ain't gonna ask no questions of why she got what she got or what she did.
What she needed with it.
Have a ride that may not have any types of issues with it as far as somebody shooting at your vehicle.
I can see
So,
that.
yeah, that would probably be the way that I would go if I had to pick a most trustworthy crackhead from Friday. All right.
That's fair. I can see
That's
that.
an impossible question. Goodness.
It
It
is
is.
so
That's tough.
bad.
It
Never trust
absolutely
Because you,
is.
yeah.
All right. Our last one. Every year you're going to go on the internet and eventually you're going to see someone do some terrible graphics for a film
Oh
called
Lord,
Last
yes,
Friday. Very
yes.
recently, apparently, Mike Epps has speculated that there will be a Final Friday film. Um, if the film can't have Chris Tucker, do you still want it to happen? If is it okay if it just happens with Mike Epps, or does it have to have Chris Tucker?
It has to have Chris Tucker. It
For the last one, yeah.
it has to have, like, if you're trying to close something out, like, it has to have Chris Tucker. Otherwise, like, don't, like, what's the point of doing it? And let's be honest, I think everybody would clamor, everybody would go see Chris Tucker, reprise that
Mhm.
role. So it,
Mhm.
like a grown, an older, maybe he's a little more mature, maybe
He can be himself now. He can be him now.
damn thing. I don't
He
know,
moved to
but no,
Seattle.
it has to have, like, otherwise, what's the point?
I think that's perfect. He can be himself now because he went through a period where he was super Christian and his comedy club you couldn't cuss and he didn't cuss. I think that character he could be that. Go on in there and be the super you forgot who you used to be person and you can be a deacon or something or trying to to give game to the kids. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Rico make a good point. Why do it if you're not gonna do it? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't halfway do it. You already have Friday and Friday after next, and all that kind of stuff. Next Friday, all that stuff. So you've already done it without them. So don't
Yeah.
why bring it back for a third time all this time later just to be like, and we still ain't got them. Like leave us alone. Yeah, we still leave us alone. The nigga showed up the first time looking for him. You know what I'm saying? At the second movie next Friday, people were like, "And where is Smokey?" You know what I'm saying? I remember those days. And then it was like, "No, you got to get used to that day." And people did. So don't wait 15, 20 years later and be like, "And we ain't got them still." It's like,
Still
all right,
ain't got.
cool.
He says like the black meat and 3, but like, so y'all still ain't got no chicken and dress. God,
Still.
I know it's on the menu.
Why do I keep coming?
We still ain't got it. God,
Right. Why do I
Yeah,
keep
no
coming?
Been on the board for a while now.
It's
but-
been up there. Just erase it. Erase it off of that half-ass dry erase board. Just mark it off. Mark the chicken and dressing off.
Right. Because if they don't do it, we gonna be lying to ourselves for years saying
Yes.
they gonna do it. It's still gonna happen. It's still gonna happen. Like
Yep.
this was last Friday, but the next one was like Friday after last. Like it's not gonna happen. I'm tired of seeing the memes. I'm tired of seeing it on Facebook. Let's end it.
Yeah. It's worse than the New Jack City prequels that I've seen.
Oh.
The backstory of Nino. Like, no. It's not happening.
I got a
My
feeling
Herschel-
that pretty soon we're going to be going to the internet and seeing a whole lot of Lil Deebo memes for the.
It should.
Deebo.
If somebody got some, if somebody got some sense, they will get on this. I'm sitting here. I don't know if y'all like righteous gemstones, but I'm like Baby Billy. I'm sitting here shitting gold in front of you and you don't want to take it.